So when it comes to the brand of Bvlgari, there are a lot of fragrances that seem to get a lot of attention. Tiger, Man, Man in Black, Aqua, Aqua Amara, Aquamarine, so on and so forth. Here is Bvlgari pour Homme Soir. This is a flanker, of course, to the original Bvlgari pour Homme. This came out in 2006. This is a citrus, tea, and papyrus fragrance. I'm looking forward to giving you my thoughts on it very soon, so make sure to stay tuned. Before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on Bvlgari pour Homme Soir, this is a fragrance that is almost 2 decades old. I want to start the video off first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance related content, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and also give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. So, of course, this fragrance is citrus heavy. There's bergamot, there's amber, which is not a citrus, it's a resinous accord. And of course, there's also Darjeeling tea with a touch of papyrus. So the impression one would get, at least from looking at that note breakdown, is that this is going to be a sort of calming, tranquil, citrusy, maybe even office appropriate type of a fragrance. I've spent some time with it. I've had it in my possession now for a number of years. I'm looking forward to giving you my thoughts on it very soon. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. So right in the opening, the first thing that you're going to notice is that burst of citrus. And there's a lot of citrus happening in here. You look at the note breakdown and there's bergamot listed, at least from the source that I consulted online. But of course, I'm getting sort of a melange of citrus. So not just bergamot, I'm getting this sort of neroli vibe, I'm getting a petitgrain vibe, and it kind of gives across like this refined citrusy cocktail in the opening, which is actually quite nice. Now, as far as the heart of this fragrance is concerned, there's Darjeeling tea listed as a note. And the tea in here, very calming, very tranquil, almost borderline floral, which is interesting because there's so many tea-based fragrances on the market. Of course, from Le Labo, you have Thé Matcha, you have Thé Noir. Even from the Bvlgari brand, you have Eau Parfumée au Thé Vert, which is a really, really strong tea-based fragrance. I would say this is the least strong fragrance of all of the others that I mentioned. And the reason I say that is because all of those other ingredients, like the papyrus, like the woodsy base, that earthy texture in the dry down, and also the citrus, do kind of convey another olfactive DNA that doesn't supplant the tea, but it kind of adds to it so as to distract the wearer from the tea, if that makes sense. Now, of course, the tea is there, right? It is up front and center. What I'm saying is that it shares the spotlight with those other ingredients. So if you're expecting this to be a very plain, unilateral, sort of a tea-based fragrance, no, there's actually more happening in here. Something about it, though, does kind of convey this classy attitude. And I say that because that floral personality that I'm getting in here, and I'm sure it's comprised of a lot of clean white floral ingredients, and even if it's not the true floral as represented in the note breakdown, it might be something like a linalool or a jasminol or some aroma chemicals that kind of give off that white floral personality. That for some people might give it a bit of like an old school vibe, but not old school in the way of like fir balsam or pine or oak moss or vetiver or anything like that. Papyrus, surprisingly, is an ingredient that is also found in Santal 33, and I do believe it's adding to the earthy texture of this fragrance, but it's still not an earthy fragrance. I think at the helm of it is really sitting the tea, but there's so much citrus in here, and there are some woodsy facets, not much amber though. When I think of amber, sometimes I think of medicinal or balsamic or rich or viscous or even vanillic, and I'm not getting any of those from this fragrance. This is a very clean, citrus-dominant, professional tea-based fragrance that kind of conveys a calming aura. Great for the office, great for formal scenarios, great for casual scenarios as well. So I do think the versatility is working in the favor of this fragrance. I think where it falls short is that the performance isn't that great, And those who have tried other fragrances by Bvlgari, whether it be Cobra or Onyx or Tiger or Man in Black or any number, or even Bvlgari Black, which is the discontinued gem composed by perfumer Annick Menardo, they might smell this one and think to themselves, well, this is kind of on the plain side of things. So I could see that being a potential criticism. So it is still readily available from what I saw online, and I don't know if you're going to find it as easily in department stores, but look around or smell around, see if you can find this one, see if it caters to your personal taste, and if it does, I think you have a great, versatile, albeit not very long-lasting fragrance by Bvlgari. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, for a tea-based fragrance, it smells quite different from other tea-based fragrances that I have in my collection, not to mention that I prefer the sort of chai fragrances with that sort of spicy nutmeg cardamom combination, you know, Cafe V or Baruti's chai, and you know, there's even one by Nila Vermeer. So many tea-based fragrances that I love. This one is very different. Longevity, 6 hours. Projection was great for the first hour. It radiated an arm's length. It became an elbow's length scent at hour 4, a skin scent at hour 6. Versatility, great for the hotter weather. I think this one would appeal to anybody of any age, great for casual or formal scenarios on account of the price tag. And this one leans traditionally masculine, as per many people's outlook on this stuff. In terms of the versatility, I personally think it's a pretty versatile scent, despite the fact that it doesn't last very long, and I do think that it's probably better for the hotter weather. Presentation, I don't have the box, so this used to be my stepfather's fragrance, and I think he threw away the box, but you know, the bottle gives you that Bvlgari aesthetic with the circumferential logo on the cap here. My final verdict on this fragrance is, it's an interesting tea-based fragrance with a really strong citrusy presence. It has a clean white floral personality. It's still masculine leaning, not the longest lasting fragrance, not the most interesting fragrance by Bvlgari, but this is all subjective. Just my opinions. I do urge you and encourage you to try it for yourself. Let your own nose do the talking, so to speak. Thanks for watching. That was my review of Bvlgari pour Homme Soir. Do you own this fragrance? Do you have any experience with it? If you do, drop your comments down below. I would love to hear from you. And also, if you took anything of value from today's review, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. It would really mean a lot to me. Thanks again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye.